So welcome to the Mr. Beacon podcast. We're in Escondido today, and I just happened to be talking to a friend of mine, Keith Gaitan, about his experience with the physical web, and I thought, hey, we should record this. So Keith, thanks for sharing. Can you tell us a little bit about your company and your offering, and then we'll get into what you've learned so far.
Sure. So the company's called Beacon Snap, and we're creating a very one-stop shop for everything mobile, everything disruptive.
Yeah.
And we started off by just building a really simple interface to create a Chrome physical web landing page that would tie into a beacon, so you could program a beacon very easily. So we created a nice domain. It's a HTTPS domain, near.place. You might think, oh, I'm near a place, and then put in your little code for whatever landing page that you created. And it's a very cut and paste. You can make a landing page that is simply an image, so you can tie it in to show a video off YouTube. Put anything you want on there. You can put call to action buttons on there, or have it just be a link to another HTML. And so that's what we use that. We started playing with it in January, and so I got some of the Eskimo large location beacons.
All right.
And I decided that a friend of mine, who's a general manager at a restaurant called Swami's in Point Loma.
I'm going to move this a little bit closer because suddenly there's just a bunch of environmental noise.
Yeah.
But,
so he's the GM
Swami.
of Swami's
So Swami,
Cafe.
Let's give a bit of context. Where's the name Swami from?
I don't know, actually. Do you know?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So there's not a lot, but a little bit. There was a guru, literally a guru, who came over from India, and he set up a enlightenment center just north of San Diego on the coast, and it's a beautiful temple. If you go up 101 to Encinitas, you'll see the Swami temple, and they've named the beach Swami Beach, and it's basically because there was a real guru who came to San Diego. So anyway, I think that's probably where
he got
this
his
is in
name
Point
from.
Loma, right?
There's 9 rooftops at
Right.
Swami's. They started off with 1, and they've slowly grown. And this is a friend of mine who's the GM for the Point Loma restaurant, and he's close to the sports arena. And he was talking about how they're kind of right next to the sports arena, but they're off the beaten path, and so they don't get a lot of traffic from sports arena events, like when there's a concert there for whatever artist might be there, or an ice skating show, or what have you. They'll kind of go to the staples that are out there, like an Outback or whatever it was. So he'll send someone out there to maybe hand out coupons in the parking lot or something. And I thought, if we could get some of these beacons broadcasting Chrome Physical Web, we might be able to draw some attention. Well, we wanted to start off just in the shopping plaza that their restaurant is located in. There's a yoga studio in there, and there's a soup plantation in there, and there's a Baja grill in there, and there's different little establishments in this little strip mall plaza.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him 3 location beacons, and he put one in his car for when he drives home, because he actually lives in San Marcos, so it can broadcast in his neighborhood. Another to one of his managers who lives in a beach city close by, I'm not sure exactly, or a really nice kind of upscale neighborhood, to kind of advertise Swami's while they're there.
Yeah.
And then I told him let's put a beacon in the broadcasting out into the parking lot. And so he has these lamps at the front entrance of the restaurant on a stone pillar.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let's put them in there, one in there, so
Yeah.
broadcast out to the parking lot with the hopes that if someone arrives and they're maybe debating whether they're going to go to Soup Plantation or maybe they're going to go shopping because there's a grocery store right there, and they happen to check for notifications, they might see a special offer from him. So he made it a really strong offer, 25% off everything. Drinks, food, you name it. So we made that offer, and about a week into it, he started seeing some traction, and I could see on our analytics some people clicking on it and coming in. About 2 weeks later, though, the traffic really got strong on it, and I was like, wow, it's really strong, and he's been busy, and I've been busy, so we were trying to connect, and we were having some issues, and we finally connected, and he's like, well, let me give you the pros and the cons. He's like, A, it's working like crazy. It definitely works. The problem is, hitting everyone that's already in the restaurant eating. And so I don't need to offer them anything. They're already here.
Yeah.
But I'm giving them the offer because they're getting it. I'm honoring it. And I was like, I was in shock and awe. I was like, that's really cool and really bad.
Yeah.
Really cool because I didn't think the beacon would penetrate all the way into the restaurant because of where we placed it. So that was blowing me away, that it was penetrating through the metal barrier of the lamp that it's in and the stone pillar that lamp is attached to, all the way into the restaurant behind itself. So I was like, man, that's very impressive. That's good. The bad side, yeah, we don't want to give discounts to current customers. Not that we don't want to give them loyalty rewards or something nice, but the idea was to conquest new people in.
Yeah.
Serendipitously, though, because he's in this plaza, the owner of the plaza was in there eating and saw, hey, I've got this thing on my phone. How are you doing this? He explained it to him. He's like, that sounds amazing. That led to, well, my son has his ice cream shop here in the plaza. Maybe we could use this to help him as well.
Yeah.
So then his son called me. I set him up with I made a nice little Chrome Physical Web landing page for his ice cream shop. I went out, I gave him a beacon, and I happened to notice that across the street from the plaza is a Baskin Robbins. So I thought, well, let's really test the effectiveness of this beacon, because these large ones can broadcast 650 feet out. And there happened to be a light pole within their parking lot that he has domain over. I'm like, put it up on there, about 10 feet high, facing out right across the street to that Baskin Robbins, and let's see if we get some traffic from there. It's been a few weeks. He's gotten one or two people that conquested Oprah from Baskin Robbins.
Right.
I went out there last week, and I wanted to test it myself. And it's a great concept, but it's a little hit and miss because it's broadcasting across a street. So as cars go back and forth, clearly they're interrupting the Bluetooth signal.
Yeah.
And it has to penetrate through. So it's not 100% nonstop getting the signal all the way over into that Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, and I think one thing I've noticed is that Google seems to be, with the nearby service, they're being a little more conservative in terms of when they raise the alert. So even though there is a beacon signal there, it's not a strong signal, and so if you had an iBeacon app, then maybe that would raise an alert, but because it's physical web, then, and Google doesn't want to annoy people, they probably don't want us to do what you're doing, even though it's very cool and kind of fun. I think they're just being a little bit more conservative because they want it to be local as opposed to just kind of blanketing everywhere.
They kind of filter when and if you get hit.
But I think the idea of sending your employees out with these beacons when they're dishing out promotions to people it's like the modern sandwich book, isn't it? Where they used to put the billboard on the front and the back of people.
Yeah, it's the same.
A lot less undignified.
Yeah, it's the same as you got the sign twirlers on the corner.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's ultimately it is the new billboard, because where are people's nose buried? They're not looking at billboards; they're looking at their phone. So if you can make the phone the new billboard and have a little advertising space on there, it gets some traction. Because one of the things that the general manager of Swami's told me is that he had people come in that said, yeah, I noticed this. I kept noticing this little message from you every time I came to this plaza to go grocery shopping or something.
Yeah.
I didn't pay much attention because I wasn't in the mood to go eat. But I notice it's every time I come here, I get it. So finally I decided, you know what, I'm going to go there and have a meal because I keep getting asked to come in.
Yeah.
Additionally, we decided to swap beacons. So Swami's beacon, or what broadcast Swami's offer, is in the ice cream shop. And the ice cream shop has a beacon in Swami's that broadcasts the ice cream shop's offer.
Yeah, so you're doing kind of cross-selling, and it's a reciprocal arrangement, which I think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you need like this nice symbiotic relationship, I think, which could lead to other things. However, because of course, if the ice cream shop owner whose father owns the plaza happens to also know the proprietors of the sports arena.
Yeah.
So there would be a way to maybe get beacons into the sports arena, which I think would be a great tool. Because if you're just broadcasting Chrome Physical Web, and we could change that per event to whatever they want to promote for that event. Or certain vendors could like opt in. They're like, I really want to help promote this thing, so I'll buy a little bit of that beacon time, or beacon space, however you want to label it, so that I can be using that Chrome Visible Web. And this is all, of course, a soft push notification. This isn't a hard push, which you can do if you just tie it all into an app.
Yeah.
Which would be very simple, but of course, having a relevant app is hard sometimes. Irrelevant apps get deleted constantly. There's only so much real estate on your phone screen.
Yeah.
And they decide, okay, I don't need that one anymore. This one goes away, that one goes away. So we're also trying to develop what we call like the community consumer app, right? Where a community doesn't have to buy it. It can just be for their community, for their consumers, one app for the entire area. And all their beacons and everything can tie into this one app, so that when someone comes in to Escondido and they're in downtown, if they happen to have this universal consumer app that we have, it'll tie into everything here. But simultaneously, when they leave this area and they go to another geographic location, say they're in the Gaslamp district and they're also all buying into this consumer-friendly universal app, all of a sudden it changes because of their geolocation, the signals they get, maybe by geofencing, and also businesses that have beacons there, as they walk by, they have more of an interaction. And for the traveler that goes, okay, I know if I go to all these different cities, all these cities are using this one single same kind of consumer-friendly app, so I don't have to have an app for a taco shop, and an app for a coffee shop, and 10 different coffee shops, and 3 different taco shops, and all these apps bombarding me. I can just have this one kind of simple app.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think way back when, it's probably like 20 years ago, Sun Microsystems, in their heyday, they had this expression that was something along the lines of the computer is the network, or the network is the computer. And I really think that the beacon is the network is the ecosystem is really key, and we have to kind of make it super easy for people to do these kind of reciprocal arrangements, and just point and click and start deploying these URLs out. So I thank you very much for that little mini case study.
Sure.
So Swamis, and how can people find out more about your platform? Where do they go?
They would go to beaconsnap.com, and that would kind of our main landing page, and give you a lot of information on that.
All right. Keith, thanks a lot.
You're very
welcome. Thank you for tuning in 360 Degrees, our experiment with the virtual reality 360-degree world continues.